So do you feel there was any disadvantage to not going with a U.S. banker?
I'm not aware of any. Not aware of any at all.
So the people that Mike and Q1 contacted.
I just
yes,
want to add one other
yes.
thing in on that, because the other thing is, and I did see this a little bit, is some of the representatives for the buyers didn't understand Canadian tax situation, which is important to understand some of the nuances. Now, of course, you're going to have accounting representation, but I think it's important your investment banker also understands the nuances of Canadian tax situation.
Okay. So, I mean, often Canadian software companies who believe they're going to be sold to a U.S. company feel that they have to deal with U.S. investment bankers. Going through the process, did you find that Mike and Q1 were able to reach the right individuals who were making decisions at those companies and be able to get you in front of them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned earlier that we felt it would be a U.S. company buying. It did end up being a U.S. company, but 2 or 3 of the U.S. companies that were interested in us were actually owned out of Asia, India, to be specific on things. And it would have been the U.S. arm coming in to buy us out. So you are picking up an international flavor, I think, now, in particular in software, as to what you're going to do.
Okay. So when you were evaluating Q1 and the 1 or 2 other firms in the local area in Toronto, is there any particular reason why you decided to go with Mike's firm?
Well, Mike had spent about a half-hour phone call with me 2 years earlier, which impressed me a lot. The advice that came out of that was better than most of what I'd had from a whole variety of people. I wanted the firm that was going to represent us to be, I'll say, strongly interested in the process. I didn't want them managing 10 other processes at the same time. And you got the sense that you would be, just one of many in some of the larger organizations where, with Mike's firm, I felt there'd be a little more personal attention to us.
So I guess at the end of the day, the representations that Mike made about the work that he was going to do, companies he was going to identify, the ability to negotiate well on your behalf, close a transaction, were you satisfied with that? Is there anything that you would like to see done differently, or?
No, very satisfied with it. I mean, up front, everyone is trying to understand, okay, what would this thing be worth? What is the number worth? And at preliminary stages, people are trying to figure out whether it's $1, $2, $3, whatever the number is, what is it worth? Which is, it's an unscientific thing. No one wants to be pinned down. But that kind of tells you whether you even want to go into the process. If it's not in the right ballpark, why would you go down this path on things? And Mike and his firm did give us a number, and what ended up happening was well in excess of that number was what we achieved. And that, those to me are major representations. I don't want someone telling me you're going to get $10 and you end up getting $1. I want realism so I can make my decisions appropriately.
So you felt the discussions around valuation were
Yep.
reasonable and not misleading?
Absolutely.
Did you get more than you had thought you would get initially?
Yes. Absolutely.